Okay, Mario in Ontario, got your Anytone Quad 5 N2 here. So I saw your notes there from the forum that you printed off and stuff. So there's been a lot of controversy about these with the S meters and guys going in and changing the RF gain setting. And all that does, if you mess with the RF gain setting, is it adjusts the threshold of your RF gain. If you turn the number down, what happens is you limit the receiver sensitivity with it all the way up. But you turn that number way down and you start down your RF gain, it'll basically just shut the receiver off. So you shouldn't really mess with that stuff. And I know that you didn't, because I tested this and it's working just fine. The sensitivity is perfect on it. There's nothing to worry about there. But there's just been so many guys that have just kept, it's almost like beating a dead horse with these, with the S meter and just there's a lot of other radios out there. If you don't like how these work, there's tons of other radios still out there on the market that you can use. I've always liked how these work. Are they the cleanest radio? No, honestly, they're not. But they do a pretty good job. So, they could do better. Yes, definitely they could. But that's stuff that has to be done in the firmware. So, the PA section in this radio is what it is. It's designed a certain way. Could they improve it? Yeah, I would love to see them improve it and make it just a little more clean on the TX side. But it's as good as it can be after the alignment, and that's all I can really do for it. I don't know if swapping like power MOSFETs would make a difference. I don't have any here. I've thought about maybe doing that, and it's not to try to sell them like that just to see, hey, you get an extra 10 or 20 watts out. That's not what I would be looking for. It'd be more or less, maybe we could put a different pair of power MOSFETs in there and see if the sideband two-tone would look a little cleaner on the spectrum analyzer. That's stuff that I'm interested in trying. Whether I ever do or not, I guess is, time has to allow that. So I don't know if it'll make a difference or not, but I'd be more curious to try that, to try to clean up the PA than to try to get more power out. That's the difference between me and probably a lot of other guys. They would do that to try to get more power out and say, look what I did. But anyways, I mean, they're good working radio, so the receiver works good on this. It's super sensitive. If you're having a problem where you think that you're getting too much noise floor or something, just back this down some. I mean, that's what it's there for. This is RF gain. Just back it down and it'll be fine. You don't have to run it all the way up. I'm not sure why you said in your notes that you said you got a couple friends that are a mile away and they're giving you 60 dB on your 7300, but only hitting you at 20 over on this Anytone. So if you have both of your preamps on your 7300, that's probably why. But you kind of need to have those on, because otherwise the 7300 is really deaf without them on. So, and I've tested that and come to the conclusion that, yeah, you need to have both preamps on that radio. I have one. I don't even use it anymore. It just sits on the shelf, but it's a fun radio. It's definitely not the best. It's not the worst. It's just a good, fun radio to use. So, using these radios are the same. They're not the best. They're definitely not the worst. They're just fun radios. So that's what it's all about. It's got to be fun. If it's not fun for you and you own one of these, then probably you should sell it or move on to something else. Because if you're not having fun and you're just stressing out about like S meters and stuff like that, then obviously it's not going to be fun. So you want to have fun in the hobby, not stress out about stuff. So last thing on the radios and the S meters, every radio's S meter is going to act a little bit different. Let's face it, this isn't an IC7300. This is an Anytone 555N2. So if you put the two end and radios side by side and have a switch and switch back and forth between radios, you're probably always going to get a different signal reading. On the ham radio side, no one really worries about what S meter reading you're giving. I mean, usually if somebody asks, you're always 5 and 9. And then sometimes they might tell you, well, you're 10 or whatever dB over. It's not really a big deal. I've always noticed on the CB side, it seems like on the CB side, the S meter is so important, and I never really gave it much importance. As long as I'm getting a signal on you, that's all that matters. Typically, if I'm having a hard time hearing you, you're probably going to be down in the 1 to 3, maybe even the 5 range on this radio. So we have to remember, too, on this radio, we're going up to 60 dB. So on a radio like this, only going to 30 dB, so there's a difference there. You know, a 1 S unit on this radio is going to be stronger on this radio because we're going to 60. So those are things we have to try to remember too. You know, every radio is different, every S meter is different. So I calibrated this just like I would any other one. It turned out fine, so hopefully it'll work better for you. But you know, we just have to keep in mind that every radio acts different. So that's a long 5 minutes of nothing there. Sorry about that, but here's your power output on sideband. This is with the power all the way up, mic gains all the way up. 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, check check, 1 2. So you didn't really lose any power. What you gained is a little bit better linearity on the spectrum analyzer. So obviously they could do a better job, and that's why I wonder if switching out some power MOSFETs would make a difference or not. I don't know. We'll go to AM. We'll key up. Let me show you on sideband so that you don't worry about it when you get it back. So when you align these, the power meter on the radio will never really show you that much. So don't be alarmed by that. Probably before you're used to seeing it like go past 60 probably. And it's inaccurate when it comes out of the factory, and now it's inaccurate now. There's nothing I can do about that. The main thing is the radio is aligned, so it's going to work much better on sideband than how it came in. Same thing on AM. When we go to AM, it's about an 8-watt dead key, but now it's showing it's swinging like the maximum, and it's not doing that. So you know, we're not going to swing 80 watts, so or over 80 watts. So just remember that, you know, they're inaccurate, and that's basically it. So it's about 8 something on the average on the dead key, and then on the peak side, 1 2 3 1 2 3, check check. It's about 60 watts is what these always do. So there's nothing different here between this radio and like a QT60. It's the same radio. Okay, so I did adjust the transmit frequency. It was off a little bit, like 10 hertz high. That's AM. Now it's pretty much spot on. So you probably won't notice a difference. I'm sure no one told you you were off frequency on sideband anyways. 14 hertz, 20 hertz really isn't that much to really worry about, but now it's going to be much closer. So let me show you how it looks on sideband on the frequency side. Okay, Mario, so we're keyed up on upper sideband. This is with the 1 kilohertz tone, so you're going to see this number on the counter change to 6, which is right there. And then everything else is pretty much flat. So that's perfect. Clarifier is not open in the menu or anything, so when I move it, it doesn't do anything. It's just receive only. So it's working great. That was like, when I got it and I tested it, it was like 1.415 right here. It's not really anything to worry about, but since it's here, might as well fix it. Alright, here's the sideband 2-tone. This is on low power. As you can see on the meter, it's all the way down, so it looks awesome. And here it is up here. It looks really good too. So it's our 1.9 kilohertz tone right here. Other one is over here. That's our, whoops, that's our 700 right there. So that's why it shows 700 hertz extra there. So those two tones correlate to this one and that one. I use 700 and 1.9. That looks awesome. I'll turn the power up. We'll take a look. It's only doing like 3.6 all the way down. That's fine though. Alright, here it is with the power all the way up. You can see right there. So that's why I'm saying the power indicator isn't going to go up that far. We're doing about 40 watts peak right now. So you can see right there. That's why I say it could be more clean. You know, maybe some different power MOSFETs may clean it up. I don't know. That's all I would try it for. I don't have any here. I don't have any parts radios or anything. The only parts radio I have is a 2950 DX, and probably that would have those RT1s, and I wouldn't want to put those in here. I don't think they would work too well, but who knows? I don't think they would match up well with the radio, but maybe I'm wrong. I know that there's actually a part number, that a semiconductor number for those. It's not just RT1. That's something that was made up. But regardless of that, it looks really good on the 2-tone, on the oscilloscope and everything. So, you know, they work really good. They sound excellent on the air. You're obviously not at the situation you were before, where it was like up here was everything was just like up high. You know, this is upper sideband, so obviously this one's going to be higher, and we're going that way on the power. So it looks good, as good as you can on these. You know, personally for me, running these about 20 watts is probably the best, because at about 20 watts it stays pretty clean. I'm kind of a stickler for that. So, I mean, do I talk on one of these daily? No, I don't. I have one that I kept for myself, and I just don't have time to sit and talk on the radio. So when I talk, a lot of times it's just local, whatever, I talk on this. So, and I haven't talked in quite a while locally, so I just haven't been on the radio, but I'm usually listening. You know, I have SDR off to the side there. A lot of times I'm just listening, but to talk and sit and talk on the radio, no, I just don't have time anymore, really. So, you know, I have to find some time later for that. But, you know, they're still fun radios to use. There's nothing wrong with them. It's probably one of, like I say, it's probably the most popular one in quite some time.